We were brought here today to speak about the one and only Werner Herzog. I'm a big fan. You've heard a lot about him through me, which we're kind of going to recount that and just kind of talk about my appreciation of him. The earliest film, and it looks like this is out of... Nope, it is. Okay, the earliest film I've seen from him is ʻvɛʁn<hesitation>, The Wrath of God. And that's actually the first film I've seen from him, period. Was also the earliest. And holy shit, man. It's one that I really want to revisit. And it has a lot of backstory to it. But the main story is him and Klaus Kinski. You really can't speak about Werner Herzog without mentioning this dude.
I know. The
guy was an absolute maniac.
As you've said, yes.
He speaks about it more in a documentary. I'll kind of save it for then. But ʻvɛʁnင့, The Wrath of God, first of all, it starts out like spectacularly because they just have cast members traversing Machu Picchu, which is like a normal director wouldn't have his like hundreds of cast members do that. He's the type of guy that is like, yeah, we'll do that.
It has to be done for the film.
We'll set that up, and I don't care how brutal it is, because there's scenes where it's like, you know, they have someone in like, what the fuck would you call it, like a buggy.
Yeah.
You know, it's being like dragged by, and I don't even know if it was by horses or like something that could survive in the jungle there, and it is so horribly stuck in the mud. Okay. Where the people beside it are like literally having to like lift this heavy as fuck buggy.
Well, is it
in the mud?
The cargo or what's in the buggy?
Like the daughter of ʻvɛʁnnë, because they're like royalty that are, you know, explorers. Okay. And you're like, first of all, I feel so bad for the extras.
Yeah.
That are like in the mud, and it's like, hey, we got to get this shot. Keep getting stuck in this mud. We'll just film it.
Can we use a winch or something? Because we can't get it out.
It's like there's a bulldozer right behind you. Can we just use that?
They didn't have bulldozers then. Okay. No, or they didn't bring them down here.
I need to see the anguish of you trying to. I can't do it. He sounds more like Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's from around that area.
Yeah.
I had it dialed in.
California?
I had it dialed in this morning. He has such a spectacular voice. That's another reason why I'm actually like very interested by him is, and not to shit on like directors that I even really like. Mm-hmm. For example, like Marty Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino.
Marty, your buddy Marty.
We're pretty tight.
Okay, all right.
They are encyclopedic in their knowledge about film, mm-hmm. but they are obsessively connected to film. That was their childhood. And that's what brought them...
Spielberg, I know, was.
...to film.
Yeah.
And yeah, Spielberg, too. I don't know that from my watching.
I believe... I've heard things about him in his youth where he was born to be a filmmaker.
Yeah. I mean, I read Tarantino's book. I've listened to his podcast a number of times. And then with Scorsese, I've seen enough interviews where he's like... Yeah, I was kind of like a sickly kid, and well, that was like what we did. We went out, I watched movies, I stayed at home a lot, and they just played movies on television. So that was my childhood.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for like when you're young like that, your exposure to what? Like Einstein was exposed, which was like to electromagnetic something. So a lot. Mm-hmm. And it, he happened to be extremely brilliant anyway, Yeah. Ooh. And he was exposed to that. And so it formed his path in life, that it is somewhat related to astrophysics or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess like my thing, like those guys know a ton about film, and Werner's like the opposite. He didn't watch his first film until he was 17. So he grew up in a small village in, I'm gonna look up. This is, I don't know if it's Bolivia or,
Is he from South America?
he is not. It's near Germany.
Bavaria?
Bavaria. Yes. He's a German filmmaker. Yeah, I think his parents were Nazis. Fun fact.
You know BMW? You know what BMW stands for?
Don't know.
Take a guess.
BMW.
You don't know. Bavarian Motor Works.
Should have guessed that.
Well, if you were to ask 10 people, one may know, I think.
And he studied German literature and history in Pittsburgh and Munich. He talked about Pittsburgh, I guess.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Yeah. He said he was attracted to that specific place because it was in the aftermath of like the steel boom was starting to kind of fall off.
Oh, taper off. Okay.
Yeah. And he liked that it was like this weird time period for...
Yeah, he had an eye. It sounds like he had an eye for, huge societal change.
Yeah.
That's what that was in that area. I'm sure.
The stories...
I know nothing about the area other than that,
Yeah. The Steelers are from Pittsburgh. It's such a hard-working blue-collar town, and like after a lot of people fled after this. I knew like from economics classes and stuff like that. Like people don't realize it's kind of like Detroit, how like the automotive industry was huge.
Yeah, a lot of people left the Rust Belt, and a lot of them went to Houston, Texas.
Yeah, I don't even know what their industry is in Houston.
Oil.
Oh, and that never goes.
Well, it can, but it hasn't really yet.
Saudi Arabia is still doing well.
You making fun of me now?
So, he's just the opposite of what the contemporary...
Is this guy still alive?
He is, yeah. He just did a 60 minutes short interview with Anderson Cooper.
Was that recent?
What?
That interview he did.
I think.
He didn't look that old.
He's 82. So he is. But he's sharp. He's with it, man.
I saw a very short clip, and I wouldn't mind watching more of it. He didn't really look that old, and he sounded, like you said, pretty. You should make another movie.
He remembers stuff too from like, I mean, his life. He's a guy who lived life, and then finds joy in these just really obscure pieces of literature, slices of life to document. He meets these interesting characters that are like hidden gems, for lack of a better term. It's like just he documents stuff that is like no one else finds besides him, which is what makes him a tremendous documentarian, because no one else you're never going to learn about these characters if not for him.
Right.
Like I think Aguirre's loosely based on someone real. And then I watched I would say, just before moving on, like the first film that I saw, Aguirre, The Wrath of God, I would recommend it for you. I've said it time and time again. I think it's really, really worth watching, because the one thing that does transition into the mainstream, because it's kind of a high art movie. That is what Werner does with his, what do you call it? Like films, non-documentary films, like narrative features, I guess is what it would be called. If it's not a documentary. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of high art. Like he's unique. He's peculiar. It's not an average film with him. It's not mainstream by any means. It didn't, literally every film.
You're not going to tell me the name, are you?
Aguirre, The Wrath of God.
Oh. I thought you were talking about another film.
Any film by like a German filmmaker gets a tax credit, and his did not get a tax credit because they said it was too bad. And now on Letterboxd, a 4.1 out of 5. I gave it a 3.5.
Whoa, wait, 4.1
out of 5.
You told me you couldn't do that.
That's the average of every single. So they
Okay.
take everyone's 4,
okay,
everyone's
okay.
4.5,
So,
everyone's 5.
Right. That's a good film. That's a really good film.
Damn good film.
Especially for something. He's. You called him poet of madness or something like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, and that's probably the best or a very good description of. I was thinking like poet of the absurd as well.
He would probably agree with that.
Because I mean, he embraces
Chaos.
no, just the non-mundane, the non-pedestrian. He's
Yeah.
like he wants to find that, like you said, he looks for meaning or joy or things interest him that are like off the beaten track.
Oh yeah, without doubt. Like he has a keen eye for finding stuff like that.
Yeah.
The next film, like, in terms of release dates, The Enigma of Caspar Hauser, I don't think you would like this. I kind of enjoyed it. It's about this guy. It's kind of one of those cases of like, if you're familiar with like feral children, people who are locked away for a really long time and then exposed to the outside world. That's what Caspar Hauser is. But the point of the film is that despite the fact that he's completely new to everything, his new perspective kind of gives him like this childlike purity where he can kind of cut through all the bullshit and see things for how they truly are. I don't think it would speak to you at all. I think like Where the Wrath of God is like damn near 1 or 2 in terms of what I would recommend, but The Enigma of Caspar Hauser I don't think would speak to you very much.
Okay.
But I wouldn't. There's certainly going to be people who listen to this that are fans of that. Schroizek is the next one in terms of. This is another one you would really dislike.
Keep telling me ones I would hate. Oh, you'd hate this. Oh my God, you'd hate it.
The best thing about this is like everyone will talk about this as being like the scene to watch. Rather than just go through every single film, I'll go over the ones that are worthy.
Okay.
For my money, Fitzcarraldo is must watch. It's so good. There's so much behind the scenes, and the must watch companion piece is The Burden of Dreams, which shows and documents a lot of the behind the scenes shit that happened on Fitzcarraldo. It's so fucking good. There's so much crazy shit. He literally pulls a 300-ton boat over a mountain, like a hill.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's one river, then there's like this huge hill, and then another river.
Right.
And he pulls it from river to river, which is insane. And it's just really good. And it's the type of... It's not too art housey, I think, for you. So you would still be able to enjoy it. And then honestly, his documentaries are pretty good. I called it Volcano last time we were discussing this. It's actually Into the Inferno is the real name of it. Pretty much if there's like a type of, like, look at his documentaries, and if any of them actually covers something that is close to something that interests you, it's like, okay, we gotta watch this. So like Volcanoes, who doesn't like volcanoes?
Right.
I mean,
Interesting.
and then Into the Abyss, that's like people on death row. He interviews them. That's interesting. Bunch of shit like that. But like honestly, the point I was trying to make is there are people who get into filmmaking because they've been obsessed with it their whole lives, and then Werner is like the inverse, where it was this kind of technology that he found out late in life, He ends up stealing his first camera that he filmed his first 7 movies on. Like, it wasn't his. He stole it from the school and filmed his movies on it. He's so different than everyone else that you get a voice that has never existed and probably won't exist ever again in film.
Right.
And also, in terms of documentaries, the one that is must watch is My Best Fiend, which documents the relationship between Klaus Kinski and Werner Herzog. Because again, like I said, it's a relationship you can't talk about either or.
Symbiotic.
Yeah, exactly. But, and Grizzly Man, because it's the best comedy you'll ever see.
Okay.
Thoughts, feelings, concerns?
No, I think I have to watch one of these.
I'll send you a floppy disk that has all of them on it.
I don't have a floppy drive.
Oh, damn.
You got a floppy disk?
We'll work something out.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Fans, send Dadman the Werner Herzog collection. Our email address, our physical address is